Zen wisdom reveals what's really causing your suffering. There's a kind of suffering you carry every day without realizing it. It's the burden of trying to control what cannot be controlled, of resisting what is already happening, of seeking peace in the wrong place. Over the next few minutes, you will discover why Zen Buddhism sees this as the root of all modern anxiety. How a Japanese monk from the 12th century found the key to a life without inner resistance. And most importantly, how 7 ancient practices can completely transform your relationship with the chaos of the modern world. Get ready for a deep journey that goes far beyond what you think you know about simplicity and presence. An experience that may change your life forever. Welcome to Axiom Sage, timeless wisdom from the East to transform your mind and spirit. I want you to do something special for me right now. This isn't just another video to passively consume. It's a transformational experience that requires your full presence. Turn off all notifications. Find a truly comfortable place where you can dedicate yourself completely for the next 90 sacred minutes. Now breathe with me 5 conscious times. Feel each inhale bringing presence, each exhale releasing tension. I feel a special connection with you, who chose to dedicate this sacred time to yourself. I know you didn't get here by accident. You're looking for something more than surface-level techniques or shallow philosophies. You want real transformation, the kind that touches the center of your being and reorganizes how you see and live life. And that's exactly what Zen Buddhism offers. Not just abstract philosophy, but a complete art of living refined over more than 2,500 years. Today, we'll dive together into a tradition that survived empires, wars, cultural revolutions, and reached us because it works, because it truly transforms, because it truly frees. Allow yourself to be fully present with me. Allow yourself to be touched. Allow yourself to be transformed. But before we begin our deep journey, I need to tell you something that may completely shake your ideas about what it means to live a full and meaningful life. What you're about to discover isn't just another teaching about meditation, mindfulness, or self-help. It's the secret that made a young prince abandon a golden palace to sit under a tree for years. It's the realization that led Zen masters to smile at death with the same serenity they smiled at life. It's the wisdom that can transform your most chaotic Monday, your most difficult relationship, your deepest crisis into opportunities for peace and radical clarity. There are 3 revelations I'll share with you today, so powerful they were passed down in secret from master to disciple for centuries. The first will challenge everything you believe about happiness. The second will reveal why you still suffer even when your life is objectively fine. The third will show you how to access a state of consciousness few humans in history have ever touched. Breathe with me one more time, because we're about to embark on an exploration that will touch your soul in a way you never thought possible. What you discover about yourself in the next few minutes may be the beginning of an entirely new life. Imagine a young Japanese monk walking through the snowy mountains of Kyoto in the harsh winter of 1191. His name is Eisai Myoen, and he has just returned from a transformative journey through China, carrying not only scrolls and sutras, but something that would forever change the spiritual landscape of Japan, and 8 centuries later, touch your life through this very conversation, Zen Buddhism. But to truly understand the transformative power of this tradition, we must go even further back, to the deepest roots of this wisdom. The real story begins with a young prince named Siddhartha Gautama, over 2,500 years ago, born in a palace that would make any modern CEO envious. He had everything our current society still chases so desperately. Unlimited wealth, supreme status, total security, constant pleasure, political power, social recognition. And yet, even with all of it, something deep inside him knew there was more. There was a subtle but persistent existential unease, a question that no distraction could silence. Is this it? Is this what life is? Have you ever felt that? Moments when, even when everything seems fine, there's a quiet sense that something fundamental is missing. It's not depression. It's not ingratitude. It's a deep intuition that there's a dimension of life you haven't yet touched. The first time Siddhartha left the golden walls of the palace and encountered old age, illness, and death, it wasn't just emotional shock. It was a devastating and liberating realization that our desperate search for external safety is a fundamental illusion, that our obsessive attachment to control is the source of our deepest suffering. For 6 long years, Siddhartha tried everything available at the time: extreme fasting, body-denying practices, intense meditations, complex philosophies. He became literally skin and bone in his search for truth. Until one morning at 35 years old, seated under a Bodhi tree on the banks of the Naranjara River, he simply stopped. Stopped fighting himself. Stopped resisting what he was feeling. Stopped trying to force awakening through willpower and effort. And in that moment of total surrender, of complete acceptance of what is, he found what he had been searching for all his life. Peace that doesn't depend on external circumstances. Clarity that needs no justification. Freedom that can't be given or taken away. Here's the first truly transformational insight I want to plant in your awareness. Zen Buddhism is not about adding more practices, more disciplines, more knowledge to your already overwhelmed life. It's the opposite. It's about subtracting, about discovering who you truly are when you peel away all the layers of resistance, expectation, control, and striving you've accumulated over the years. This is a silent revolution because it contradicts everything our culture teaches us. We live in a society that constantly says, do more, have more, be more, control more, optimize more. Zen whispers the opposite. Stop doing so much. Stop having so much. Stop trying to be so much. Stop trying to control everything. Simply be. When Eisai brought Zen to Japan in the 12th century, he wasn't just introducing a new school of meditation. He was planting the seeds of a silent revolution in how human beings relate to their very existence. The word Zen comes from the Sanskrit dhyana, which means contemplation or meditation, but not contemplation as you probably imagine it. It's not getting lost in deep thoughts about the meaning of life or analyzing your psychology. It's precisely the opposite. Zen is the art of being so fully present that thoughts become transparent, like clouds drifting through a vast, clear sky. It's a state of awareness where you are no longer identified with the content of your mind, but with the spacious silence in which all thoughts appear and disappear. I remember vividly the first time I truly experienced this, not as a concept or technique, but as lived reality. I was going through a turbulent period, 12-hour workdays, draining relationships, financial stress, and a constant, exhausting sense of chasing life but never catching it. I had read dozens of books on Zen, Buddhism, meditation, attended retreats, spoke with teachers, but it all remained intellectual, information that didn't penetrate the texture of daily life. Until one day, stuck in traffic after work, frustrated and mentally exhausted, something inside me simply gave out. It wasn't a conscious decision or technique. It was as if my nervous system said, enough. I can't fight this anymore. And in that moment of total, involuntary surrender, something extraordinary happened. The traffic didn't change. The noise didn't stop. My life situation was exactly the same, but I was completely different. There was a deep, stable peace that didn't depend on anything changing. A clear serenity that watched everything unfold, untouched by any of it. It was like waking up from a lifelong dream of resistance. And this isn't just subjective experience or spiritual romanticism. Modern neuroscience is confirming with growing clarity what Zen masters taught more than 2,000 years ago. When we resist what is, when the mind is in constant conflict with reality, when we live in the chronic state of this shouldn't be happening, we activate what neuroscientists call the default mode network. This is a network of brain activity directly linked to chronic stress, anxiety, depression, mental rumination, and even physical illness. But when we practice authentic Zen presence, when we learn to observe without judging, to be without resisting, to let the moment be what it is, we activate entirely different regions of the brain, areas associated with deep peace, clarity, emotional resilience, intuition, and what scientists now call non-ordinary states of consciousness. Here's what that means in practical terms. Zen isn't a philosophy or belief system you must accept by faith. It's a technology of consciousness transformation, empirically tested for thousands of years and now validated by neuroscience. But here's the part few people know about this transformation. Most people, especially in our Western, results-driven culture, think personal growth means adding more new habits, new practices, more effort, more control. Zen teaches something revolutionary. True transformation begins the moment you stop trying to transform. When you stop resisting what you are now. When you stop fighting your thoughts, your emotions, your circumstances, even your limitations. Let me guide you now through a simple, powerful practice. Not just a relaxation technique, but a direct gateway into Zen awareness. Sit comfortably with your spine straight, but not stiff. Gently close your eyes. Begin simply by observing your natural breath, without trying to change it. Now, instead of focusing on the breath itself, begin to notice the space between breaths. That subtle pause between inhalation and exhalation, and again between exhalation and inhalation. This space is where Zen awareness lives. When thoughts arise, and they will, don't fight them. Don't try to stop them. Don't judge yourself for thinking. Just observe the thoughts like clouds passing through the sky, and gently return your awareness to the space between the breaths. Then expand your awareness. Include not just breath, but all sensations. Sounds around you, body sensations, the light behind your closed eyelids. All of it resting inside this spacious awareness. Stay in this state for a few more moments. This is a taste of Zen consciousness. Pure, clear, present. Not disturbed by what comes and goes within it. Now, gently open your eyes and stay with that same quality of awakened presence. If what we've explored so far is resonating with something deep inside you, if you feel that a lighter, clearer, more peaceful way of being is not only possible, but already opening in you, then I want to invite you to become part of a very special community. Every week, here on Axiom Sage, we share timeless Eastern wisdom, not for entertainment, but to support your real transformation. Subscribe now to join this journey of awakening. You are not alone on this path. And now, let's go even deeper into the very heart of Zen. There's a Zen story that completely transformed my understanding of what it truly means to live simply and fully. I want to share it with you because it holds a teaching that could revolutionize how you approach life. A young monk, anxious and full of spiritual ambitions, sought out his Zen master after weeks of intense meditation with no apparent results. Frustrated, he said, "Master, teach me the most direct path to enlightenment. I've practiced all the techniques you've taught me, read all the sutras you recommended, and spend hours in silent meditation. When will I finally attain enlightenment?" The Zen master, a 70-year-old man with serene, deep eyes, calmly looked at the young monk and asked, "Did you have breakfast this morning?" "Yes, master," replied the young man, clearly confused by the question's relevance. "Then go wash your bowl," the master said, returning to his own activity. At first, the young monk was irritated, feeling his deep question had been trivialized. But something about the master's calm, complete presence made him pause and reflect. He went to wash the bowl, but this time with a completely different quality of attention. As the warm water flowed over his hands, as he gently scrubbed the simple ceramic, as he felt the smooth texture of the clean bowl, something extraordinary happened. He realized he had been looking for enlightenment in extraordinary experiences, altered states of consciousness, grand spiritual realizations, when in fact it was present in every ordinary moment, every simple activity, every conscious breath. Enlightenment wasn't somewhere in the future to be achieved through spiritual effort. It was there, in that moment, in total presence with the simple act of washing a bowl. This story holds one of the most profound and transformative teachings of the entire Zen tradition. True simplicity isn't about having fewer material possessions, though that can be a natural reflection of it. It's about a simplicity of being. It's the ability to be completely present with what is, without the constant mental need for it to be different, better, more interesting, or more meaningful. When I speak of radical simplicity, I mean something that goes far beyond aesthetic minimalism or material detachment, though those may naturally arise. It's an ontological simplicity, a direct and simple way of being. Think honestly about your morning today. How many times was your mind actually present with what your body was doing? When you brushed your teeth, your mind was already at the 9 a.m. meeting. When you drank your coffee, you were checking emails or stressing over a problem. When you left the house, your mind was already in traffic, at work, on your to-do list. We live in a kind of constant dissociation between what we're doing and where our mind is. It's as if we're actors playing our own lives while our thoughts are in an entirely different film. Zen invites us into a quiet and radical revolution. Do one thing at a time with total presence. Not because it's more efficient, though often it is, but because it's the most direct way to experience life as it really is. Not as a series of tasks to complete or problems to solve, but as a succession of sacred moments to fully inhabit. Now I want to share with you one of the most profound and transformative practices of the entire Zen tradition. The cultivation of no mind, or mushin in Japanese, wu wei in Chinese. No mind doesn't mean emptiness, thoughtlessness, or unconsciousness. It also doesn't mean suppressing or controlling mental activity. It means something far more subtle and powerful. It's the state of awareness where you are so completely present that you're not being ruled, directed, or identified with the thoughts that appear and disappear in your mind. It's like being at the center of a hurricane. There's a storm all around, but you're the absolute calm at the center, untouched by it. Or like being at the bottom of a crystal clear lake. The surface may ripple, but the depths remain still. This no-mind state is actually your natural consciousness when it's not obscured by compulsive identification with mental content. It's who you are when you're not trying to be anything in particular. Let me guide you now through a practical and deep experience of this awareness. This is not just a relaxation technique. It's a direct gateway to your essential nature. Close your eyes and begin by simply observing your breath, but not the breath itself. Observe the observer of the breath. Who is aware that breathing is happening? Now, still with your eyes closed, expand your awareness to include all sound around you. But again, don't focus on the sounds. Focus on the silent space in which all sounds appear and disappear. That space is not disturbed by any sound, no matter how loud or sudden. Now observe your thoughts, but don't engage with their content. Observe the empty and luminous space in which thoughts appear, like words written in air, dissolving instantly. That space, your essence, is unaffected by any thought, no matter how intense or persistent. Now observe physical sensations, but again, don't identify with them. Observe the pure awareness that perceives these sensations. This awareness has no age, no gender, no personal history, no problems. It is simply pure, awakened perception. Rest in this state of pure awareness for a few moments. There is nothing to achieve, nothing to intellectually understand, nothing to do. There's only this simple, direct being, this presence that precedes all contents of experience. Keep your eyes closed and recognize that this awareness you're experiencing is not something you created or attained. It is your essential nature, revealed when you stop identifying with mental and emotional content. Now, gently open your eyes, maintaining this quality of awakened, detached presence. This pure awareness is always here, always available, regardless of your external or internal life situation. We've now arrived at the very heart of Zen transformation, the teaching that can revolutionize not just your spiritual practice, but your entire relationship with life. Loving detachment. And I need to be absolutely clear about this from the start, because detachment is one of the most misunderstood and distorted terms in all of modern spirituality. The distortion is so common that many people develop a neurotic version of spirituality that's actually a sophisticated form of emotional avoidance. True detachment is not emotional indifference. It's not becoming cold, distant, or numb. It's not suppressing feelings or disconnecting from life. It is, in fact, the opposite. It is the ability to love so deeply and unconditionally that you don't need to possess, control, or change anything. It's loving without attachment to the outcome of that love. It's caring deeply without getting lost in the object of care. It's being fully invested without your inner peace depending on the result. I remember a particularly painful time a few years ago during a difficult breakup after a long relationship. Every day felt like an internal battle between the deep love I still felt and the deep need to let go. I had read extensively about detachment in Buddhist and Hindu texts. I understood the concept intellectually. I could even explain it eloquently to others. But when it came to applying it to the rawest, most vulnerable area of my life, all that theory was utterly inadequate. I spent months trying to practice detachment, mentally, try to convince myself I shouldn't care so much, try to force an attitude of indifference that simply wasn't authentic. The result? Even more suffering, not just from the pain of loss, but now from guilt that I wasn't spiritual enough to handle it correctly. Then one day, during a particularly deep meditation, a realization emerged that changed not just how I related to that specific situation, but how I understood love and attachment itself. I realized that my suffering wasn't coming from the love I felt. The love was pure, beautiful, harmless. The suffering came from my mental resistance to the reality that the relationship had ended. It was like trying to hold water in clenched fists. The tighter I squeezed, the faster it slipped away. In that moment of deep recognition, something in me fully surrendered. I didn't stop loving. The love became even more pure and unconditional. But I stopped resisting the reality that that particular form of the relationship had ended. And that's when I first experienced what Zen masters call loving detachment. The extraordinary capacity to love without clinging, to care without control, to be invested without losing yourself. This understanding immediately transformed every area of my life. In my professional projects, I could give my all without my peace depending on the results. In my family, I could love unconditionally without needing to change anyone. In my personal growth, I could commit fully without self-judgment on hard days. That's the fundamental difference between attachment and true love. Attachment is love conditioned by the need for things to be a certain way. I love you if you're the way I need you to be. I love myself if I meet my goals. Life is good if circumstances align with my preferences. True love is unconditional. It's the rare and powerful ability to love what is, as it is, without needing it to change. This doesn't mean passivity or resignation. It means that your actions come from love and clarity, not from resistance and struggle. When you truly love, you naturally care. You naturally act. But that action comes from wholeness, not lack. From presence, not fear. From wisdom, not emotional reactivity. I want to guide you now through the second deep practice that can transform your ability to love without attachment and live without unnecessary resistance. This is a meditation practiced by Zen masters for centuries, not only to cultivate compassion for others, but above all to recognize the fundamentally loving nature of your own consciousness. Sit comfortably and gently close your eyes. Begin by bringing to mind someone for whom you feel natural, spontaneous love. It could be a child, a loved one, a close friend, even a pet. Let this love become a physical sensation in your chest. Don't try to intensify or change it. Just observe what the energetic texture of love feels like when it arises naturally. Now begin expanding that same love to include others close to you, your family, dear friends, co-workers you appreciate. Allow the same love you felt for the first person to naturally extend outward to this larger circle. Keep expanding, now including people you know but feel neutral toward, colleagues, neighbors, people you see regularly but don't know personally. Recognize that at their core, they have the same basic desires as you. To be happy, to avoid suffering, to feel loved and understood. Now comes the most challenging and most transformative part. Bring to mind someone with whom you have difficulties, conflict, or resentment. It doesn't need to be someone who caused you deep pain. You can begin with someone who simply irritates you. And try sending the same love to that person. If resistance, anger, or sadness arises, don't fight it. Just observe those emotions with compassionate curiosity, like temporary clouds in a vast sky of your awareness, and gently return to cultivating love. Now expand this love to include all living beings, people you've never met, animals, plants, all life on this planet. Allow your consciousness to become a radiant field of unconditional love extending in all directions. Finally, bring that love back to yourself. Include all of your imperfections, your limitations, your neuroses, your fears, your moments of failure. Love the wholeness of who you are, not just the parts you approve of. Rest in this state of universal love for a few more moments, recognizing that this capacity to love unconditionally is not something you artificially created. It is your most essential nature being revealed. Now, gently open your eyes, keeping this quality of open, inclusive love. This love you just cultivated is not something you fabricated. It is your own nature, consciously recognized and expressed. Now you are ready to receive the most profound and transformative teaching of our entire journey today. Something that very few people in the Western world truly understand, even among serious spiritual practitioners. What you're about to discover in the next few minutes is the secret kept by the most awakened Zen masters in history. It is the understanding that allowed ordinary men and women to completely transcend unnecessary psychological suffering and live in a state of deep peace, not occasionally, but as their daily reality. It is a revelation about the nature of your own identity, one that can instantly free you from decades of limiting conditioning and open the door to a way of living you may not even imagine is possible for a so-called ordinary human being. Take a deep breath with me, because we're about to dive into the most intimate mystery of conscious existence. There is one question that runs through all authentic spiritual traditions across the world, but in Zen, it is explored with a surgical precision and clarity unlike any other. Who am I? I'm not talking about your social, professional, or psychological identity. Not your roles, your memories, your preferences, your beliefs, or even your deepest experiences. I'm referring to something far more fundamental. Who, or what, is aware that these identities even exist? Who is aware that roles are being played? Who notices that memories arise and dissolve? Who is aware of preferences being felt, beliefs being held, experiences happening? The answer to this question is simultaneously the most obvious and the most revolutionary revelation possible. You are the very awareness that knows all these contents. You are not the contents. You are the conscious space in which all contents arise and pass. This may sound abstract or philosophical, but it's actually the most immediate and concrete truth of your experience right now. It is more real than any object, more constant than any bodily sensation, more intimate than any thought or emotion. Let me show you this, not through ideas, but through your direct experience. Close your eyes for a moment. Now observe if you can find yourself, the one who is aware, located anywhere specific in your body. Are you in your head, your chest, your stomach? Where exactly is the observer located? You probably discover that you can't find the observer anywhere specific, yet it's clearly present. It's as if you're the very space within which the body appears, not something inside the body. Now observe your thoughts. Can you find a clear separation between you, the one observing, and the thoughts themselves? Or do thoughts just arise in the same space of awareness that you are? Now look at your emotions. Is there truly a you that has emotions, or are emotions simply arising and dissolving in the same aware field that is your essential nature? This kind of direct investigation reveals something absolutely life-changing. You're not a person who has consciousness. You're the consciousness in which the experience of being a person arises. You're not a body that developed consciousness through evolution. You are the primordial awareness in which the experience of having a body is happening. You're not a mind that occasionally becomes conscious. You are the pure awareness in which all mental activity appears and disappears. This is not a belief or a philosophy. It is the direct recognition of your most essential nature. And once this is seen, not just as a concept, but as a lived truth, your relationship to everything changes instantly. When you recognize that you are the awareness itself, and not the contents within it, something extraordinary happens. You become completely free from psychological suffering tied to change, loss, criticism, failure, or any external condition. Not because you become disconnected or numb. In fact, you become more sensitive, more connected, more fully present. But you're no longer compulsively identified with the shifting contents of experience. It's like realizing you are the entire cinema, not just the movie playing on the screen. The movie may be a comedy or a tragedy, beautiful or disturbing, joyful or heartbreaking, but none of it touches the screen itself. The screen remains clear, stable, unmoved. In the same way, when you recognize yourself as the pure awareness in which all experiences arise, you can be fully present with joy without being shaken when joy fades. You can fully feel sadness without becoming a sad person. You can engage fully with success without being defined by success. You can meet failure without being reduced by it. This is the ultimate freedom that Zen offers. Not freedom from difficulty, but freedom in relationship to all conditions. It is the discovery of a dimension of being that is always whole, always at peace, always complete, no matter what is happening on the surface of life. That's why Zen masters can smile, even in circumstances that the conditioned mind would call tragic. Not because they're detached or indifferent, but because they know who they truly are beneath all temporary identities. And this same freedom, this same peace, this same wholeness is available to you right now, not as something to earn or attain in the future, but as the recognition of what you already are in your innermost nature. For our final and most profound practice, I want to guide you through a meditative inquiry that can directly reveal your essential nature as pure awareness. This is not a visualization or a concentration technique. It's a direct investigation of your immediate experience, a way to clearly recognize what has always been here, but perhaps never consciously noticed. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes gently. Begin simply by noticing that experience is happening in this moment. Thoughts, sensations, sounds, maybe emotions. Just recognize there is experience. Now, instead of focusing on the experiences themselves, turn your attention to what is aware of them. Who or what knows that there are thoughts? Who or what knows that there are sensations? Sounds? Try to find this knower. Try to locate it somewhere. Is it in the brain, the heart, the eyes? Can you find it anywhere? Most likely, you'll discover that you can't locate it, and yet it's undeniably present. It's like you are the very space in which all experience unfolds. Now observe. Can you find a clear boundary between you, the knower, and what is known? Where do you end and experience begin? Is there really a separation? Allow yourself to see that you are not separate from experience. You are the aware field in which all experience rises and falls. There is not you and your experience. There is simply experience happening within a unified awareness. Now expand the inquiry further. Can you find a boundary between your awareness and the world? Where does your consciousness end and the external world begin? Does such a boundary really exist? Allow yourself to recognize that your awareness is not confined inside your body, looking out at an external world, but that both body and world appear within the same vast, borderless awareness that is your essential self. Rest in this recognition for a few moments. You are not a person who has awareness. You're the awareness in which the person arises. This awareness has no age, no gender, no personal history, no problems. It is pure, awake, conscious presence. What you truly are was never born and will never die. It has never been damaged by any experience. It is never limited by any condition. It is completely free, completely whole, completely at peace. Not occasionally, but as your fundamental nature. Now, very gently, open your eyes, maintaining this recognition. What you have just seen is not a temporary state or special experience. It is the ever-present truth of who you are. This journey of recognition we've shared today is only the beginning of a transformation that can deepen endlessly. If you feel something has shifted in your understanding of who you are and how you can live, then you are part of a very special community of awakening beings. Here at Axiom Sage, our mission is to support people like you on this ongoing path of recognition and embodiment of timeless Eastern wisdom. Each week, we share deep teachings, transformative practices, and insights designed to further awaken your essential nature and help integrate it into daily life. Subscribe to the channel to be part of this virtual sangha of authentic seekers. Let this journey continue unfolding through our ongoing content. You are not alone on this path of awakening. We've arrived at the end of an extraordinary journey together. 90 minutes that may have planted seeds of transformation that will keep blooming for months and years to come. Let's briefly remember the 3 revolutionary insights we explore today. First, Zen is not about adding more practices to your life, but about recognizing the radical simplicity of being fully present with what is, without unnecessary mental resistance. Second, true transformation happens through loving detachment, the extraordinary ability to love deeply without attachment to outcomes, to care without controlling, to be truly compassionate without needing life to conform to your preferences. Third, you are not who you think you are. You're not a person who occasionally experiences awareness. You're the awareness in which the person arises. This is your essential nature, pure presence, pure love, pure freedom. These are not ideas to believe. They are realities to be directly recognized through your own experience. And once recognized, they become the ground for an entirely new way of living. Take this phrase with you as a mantra for the coming days. I am the peaceful awareness in which all experiences arise and dissolve. Whenever you find yourself caught in identification with thoughts or emotions, come back to this simple, profound truth. I feel deep and sincere gratitude for having shared these sacred minutes with you, for allowing these ancient teachings to touch your life, for allowing yourself to be open to awakening. May the peace you've recognized today become the living fabric of your daily experience. May the love you've cultivated continue expanding and blessing everyone you encounter. May the freedom you've glimpsed become your abiding, lived reality. Zen reminds us that awakening is not a one-time event. It is a continuous recognition that deepens endlessly. May this be just the first drop in an ocean of transformation that continues to unfold in your life. Until our next journey together, stay present, stay awake, stay in love. Namaste.